So how did you get involved with Oxfam?
I saw a final piece of footage that just really upset me so much that I phoned my good friend John Cho and said, look, the stuff that's happening in Aleppo and in Syria is so upsetting. I feel like we should try and do something, but I have no idea what. But let's organise a benefit or something like that. And he said, you know who you should speak to? Oxfam. I just made a film for them with this great director called Julianne Robinson, where I voiced the voice of a Syrian teacher who couldn't be revealed for fear that it would compromise him. And that led me to Oxfam, and I started talking to Oxfam and about what they do as an organisation and how they work both on the ground in providing water and medicine and food, but also trying to push the political aspects so that we can talk to our congressmen and our senators and try to make sure that we don't kind of make moves that are going to, stand side by side with dictators who are killing thousands every year. So that's why Oxfam seemed like a logical choice. And the next thing was, how do we do it? And I initially thought music, but it's very difficult to get 10 bands or 8 bands playing on a single night. And then I thought comedy. And luckily a lot of people have lent me their celebrity and their talent tonight, and hopefully we can raise some awareness and some money for this cause.
Yeah, that's awesome. So no singing tonight from you and the band? No.
That in itself would be comedy. No, there's just going to be, there will be some singing from Lauren Ash. She's got a very good song I'm looking forward to hearing, which is very funny. But no, tonight's really about letting people know what Oxfam do, how they can help, and also having some laughs so that people can walk off and say, that was a fun night, I'd go to another one of those, because we might be doing more of them.
So you have a lot of younger fans out there. So how can somebody like them who follows you on Twitter or keeps up with the show, like how can they get involved with Oxfam?
If you literally go to the website, it will talk you through some steps, some very simple stuff that you can do, where you can register a call or a note to these senators, to the people that make legislation to make law. We need to put pressure on them to sort of say, look, we can't continue down this path. The amount of people that are displaced is going to grow exponentially over the next 10 years. If we don't make moves now, this may not be on our front doorstep now, a lot of these problems, but they will be. So if you're young and you're passionate and you're hungry, go to the Oxfam website and it will tell you everything you need to know.
Okay, so I want to bring up Dark Robin Hood here. That's been a lot of fun. It was a real treat to see you kind of be a little bit more of like the bad guy on the show. Was that fun for you too?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I love the original Robin, and I love playing him very much. But it's always nice to take a character in a completely different direction and get to indulge on the kind of more sassy, villainous kind of bad boy side. Yeah.
Now, was that something that you kind of knew was coming down the pipeline, or was it just a lovely surprise?
I mean, once I left the show, I thought that was that. But then, I think the response that I'd heard from a lot of the fans of the show was so positive and so overwhelming, and I sort of said, well, if they wanted me to come back and Adam and Eddie came up with a storyline that they thought was an exciting story to tell, I was always going to be open to it.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. I really liked what they did and how they had the wrap up between the evil queen.
I thought that they're very clever guys.
So you were on Timeless.
Yes.
And what else are you up to? What's your sort of the next thing?
Well, up until this is over, I haven't been able to think about
I know this takes
anything
a lot
else,
of time and energy.
There's a couple of things.
You mentioned last time I saw you mentioned you were writing a script.
Yes, and still am, but I've been kind of a bit all over the place, so I kind of need to get in one place, which is here in Los Angeles with my writing partner, and kind of get that finished. So that's the first thing on the roster now, to kind of get something finished and handed in.